So I just wanted to thank very warmly Marina, Carlos, Joanna, and Elena for being here representing the two RENs, so AILA Research Networks, EMEVEDI and Inclusive AFLA Education. I want to thank all of you for being here today and available for this first Join REN webinar. The objective is to provide for the general public and all applied linguists a clearer view about what is a REN and what are the actual REN working on. So this is why we have started an AILA ReN cycle. So we are trying to promote the different AILA ReNs on different ways and perspectives, but everyone will be probably able to listen to all the AILA ReNs during the next AILA World Congress that will take place in 2027 in Vancouver. So we are very happy to meet all of you there and be attending the REN slots. So this was just a brief introduction, and now I will leave the floor to Marina and Carlos, providing a clearer perspective of their own REN. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Grégory, for inviting us to do this. And yes, we are the AILA ReN EMEVEDI, English as Medium of Education, Multilingualism, Virtual Exchange, and Equality, Diversity, and Inclusion. And I'm Marina Orsini-Jones. I'm based at Coventry University, part of the Research Centre for Global Learning. And when we started on this REN, we wanted to have a kind of dialogue, South-North, in applied linguistics, and that's why Carlos will now introduce himself. So I was North, and now it's Carlos South. Yes, over to you, Carlos.
Thank you, Marina. My name is Carlos. I'm a PhD student. Actually, I have defended my thesis, and I'm a lecturer at the Federal University of Espírito Santo in Brazil. As Marina said, the idea of our REN is to be represented by people also from the Global South and the Global North, and have different cultures, genders, and academic backgrounds, including professors, experienced researchers, and early career researchers as myself.
Yes, and of course we also have Luciana Cabrini Simões Calvo will intervene in a second with us. Mirjam has a terrible cold, so she apologizes she can't be with us. And of course we also have Kyria Finardi, who is the founder of this REN, which was founded in 2021. Over to you, Kyria, to say something about the REN.
Thank you. I am the co-founder of the REN together with Marina and Azira. So the EMEVEDI REN, a bit of the history. The AILA ReN was created in 2021 to address pressing issues related to equity, diversity, and inclusion in the context of education and research. And the impetus for this creation was the recognition of persistent inequalities in access to technology, information, and education, particularly when English is positioned as the dominant medium of instruction and research communication. So the REN was also conceived to foster multilingualism, equity, and sustainability in alignment with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And during the AILA Congresses in Lyon and in Kuala Lumpur, those were pivotal moments for the REN members to reflect on its mission and also expand discussions to include sustainability framed as an ecology of knowledges and languages. So that's it from me. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Kyria. And just as you can see, we take the REN very seriously. In fact, Azira and myself on the right there in the picture, we actually discussed this in a fantastic restaurant in Lyon, La Mer Brasier, which is really amazing. I recommend if you happen to go to Lyon again. Okay, so, right, so over to you, Carlos. Yes?
Yes. The objectives include to address equity, diversity, and inclusion issues in language teaching and research. I'll talk a little bit more about this, about my research in the next slide, to propose sustainable ways of addressing equal access to technology in language learning and teaching, and to research and disseminate pedagogical AILA approaches that foster inclusion and social justice. Over to you, Marina.
Yeah, we already mentioned the knowledge sharing on applied linguistics with the South-North dialogue, with a focus on challenging the established linguistic canons, decolonizes the English language, white Anglo-Saxon, Protestant, native speaker ideology and pedagogy, and Carlos will expand on this in a second, and redress inequality in applied research and policies, and identify, interrogate and interrupt. Thanks, Kyria, for this, and Cristina Salomao have actually done a little podcast on this at Uni Collaboration, which you can access from this blog after we share the slides. And now to Carlos to give a little example how we implement EDI.
Yes, in my PhD research, I did a curricular intervention in a master's degree course when I was in the UK, because I was actually a cultural student. I was a PhD student both in Brazil and the UK at the same time. So my intention was to do a curricular intervention while I was in the UK to bring this decolonial lens into the British curriculum. So my aim was to investigate the potential of virtual exchange to stimulate the critical discussion, how to decolonize ELT, and I focused mainly on the native speakerism ideology. And I wanted to provide future in-service and pre-service English teachers with the opportunity to re-examine and reflect on their existing beliefs about English and ELT more specifically. Next, Marina. So this is the overall example of my research, which the name was Vetted Virtual Exchange as a third space to decolonize ELT. The action research has two different cycles. The first one was in November-December 2022. The second one in March-April 2023. As you can see, we had over 100 participants from different countries and cultural backgrounds. And a nice outcome of my research is that at the end, the participants, they reported feeling more secure about their English varieties, which was a really nice outcome of my research.
Thank you, Carlos. Okay, and in terms of activities then, as Kyria has already mentioned, we were present at the symposium for the AILA World Congress in Lyon, and there is some proof of the Brazilian contingents there. So thank you to the Brazilian people here, Denise de Figueiredo and Gabriel and Elisa and Carlos. And we also were at the symposium in Kuala Lumpur. We actually had quite a lot of talks. We were given 1.5 days in Kuala Lumpur, a whole day, I think, in Lyon. And we're now planning for Vancouver, and I'll show you what we're planning if you're interested in joining or participating. And we've also have a forthcoming issue for the AILA review, and which I'm editing with Kyria and Azira. And just to, I'm not going to read all the content, but you can see the variety of topics we cover, which include translanguaging, which include heritage languages, which include being inclusive in policies and journal articles choice, and being inclusive in terms of internationalization at home initiatives, and many other, and translanguaging in India, etc. So, Luciana, do you want to come in?
Yes, so here we have some of the takeaways. The first one is seeing applied linguistics from different alternative and decolonial perspectives. Then the other is exploring English as a medium of education in multilingual context. Also, there is this aspect of knowledge sharing on pedagogical approaches in AL that can foster inclusivity and social justice. And then the example of critical virtual exchange as the framework proposed by Mirjam Hauck, and also the aspect of translanguaging. The next one is critically examining how policies and practices, including academic journal ones, can impact on access to knowledge and participation in global academic AL dialogues. The next one is fostering dialogue and understanding for peace at a time of dangerous masculine, belligerent, toxic discourse. The other takeaway is mitigating disparities in access to educational opportunities and international networks. Finally, encouraging AL scholars to adopt broader perspectives on EDI by considering how linguistic and cultural diversity can be leveraged to promote more equitable and sustainable educational practices.
Okay. So I don't think Mirjam can speak because she has a terrible cold. I'm not even sure she can be here right now with us. But just for you to know, we started framing the symposium on languages for peace education. I thought Vancouver was 26, Grégory. You said 27. I can't remember now. Is it 26 or 27?
Yeah, should be 27.
27.
Ah, oh. Right. Sorry about that. I was hoping for 26. I'm not sure I'll be around in 27. But anyway, we will demonstrate how all dimensions of the ReN, English as medium of education, multilingualism and virtual exchange, are core to promoting broader societal compassion and understanding. The symposium will highlight the importance of EME, multilingualism and virtual exchange for global citizenship education, even if we might have to change this to planetary, because Meloni in Italy, who I don't totally agree with the politics of, has now adopted global citizenship. She was given a prize for global citizenship, I think by Trump or Musk, one or the other. So anyway, we might go to planetary. Anyway, that extends peace-building efforts beyond local conflicts and that encourages students to understand their role in the global context, an approach we have termed critical virtual exchange. Should be CVE, sorry, in alignment with Andreotti. The contributions will explore this link between languages, collaborative online international learning, critical virtual exchange, and education for peace. It is critical, yeah, global critical exchange. Mirjam, if you're here, correct me. Sorry, Mirjam couldn't say this slide.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving us a chance to be with you. My name is Joanna Pfingsthorn. I am at the University of Bremen in Germany, and I am here with the lovely, the one and only Elena Gomez-Parra, who is active at the University of Cordoba in Spain. As you can see, we are two of the 4 conveners of the research network Inclusive Foreign Language Education. The 2 other conveners who couldn't be here are Michele D'Aloisio from the University of Parma and Małgorzata Paranucacz from the University of Wrocław. So Inclusive Foreign Language Education, as the name suggests, our main focus is foreign language education. That is actually, for the most of us, I think that is our core engagement, our core topic. And within our ReN, we are interested in the question how to make foreign language education inclusive, maybe on a more practical day-to-day level, classroom-oriented level than the colleagues from the other ReN, but I think we generally share the sentiment. We want to understand what inclusion is and how to implement it. You can also see on the slide that we have members who are spread all over Europe. So we have colleagues from Poland, from Norway, Sweden, Italy, but we also have some colleagues overseas in the US and in some places in the Middle East. And of course, we are always looking for new colleagues who would like to participate in our activities or who are just interested in the topic. So I think it goes without saying, if any of you would like to be a part of either one of the ReNs, just please contact us because we are very, very open. We thought at this point we could maybe just give you a little insight into the history of our ReN, because for us, it started as a small collaboration between some of the members that are part of the network, on some projects that we did within the European context. So, as I said, most of us come from the foreign language education environment or research field. So that was something that a lot of our research efforts focused on. In these projects that you see on the slide, we looked at different aspects of multilingualism, of intercultural education, of individual differences between learners in a classroom, different forms of diversity, on creating digital tools. We did quite a lot for higher education, so teacher education. And throughout all of these activities, we realized that we all share the same question. We don't really understand completely how to create inclusive learning environments. And as you can see in the quote on the slide, this was actually our sentiment. We thought that, yes, we are all in agreement that we would like to work in inclusive educational settings, and we understand that this is needed, but we still don't know how to achieve that easily. So how do we make foreign language education inclusive in different contexts, in different settings? Because I maybe should add, as we worked on these international projects, we also realized that our conditions differ, not only on a national level, sometimes within one country, you have differences depending on the states of or the regions. So there's quite a lot of variation in the experiences and resources that we have in foreign language education, and we all want to make it inclusive, but how do we do that? At this point, I should mention that we've decided to follow the broad understanding of what inclusion is. This means for us that we focus on how to create inclusive language learning environments. And this means that we want to reduce barriers to learning and participation. So if there's any difficulty or a challenge that a student is facing, we ask the question, how do we remove that challenge so that the learning process can be fostered? So in this sense, we are interested in the question how to seek equity, how to make engagement in foreign language education accessible to all students. And this is what we refer to as the broad view of inclusion, focusing on all students. Marginalized groups are included, but are not limited to those with disabilities, which sometimes is the kind of intuitive understanding of what inclusion is. And we assume that learner diversity, any form of diversity, is viewed or should be viewed as an asset in the foreign language classroom. And learner diversity, it can refer to pretty much any kind of a dimension of learner differences, be it neurodiversity, cultural, linguistic variation, multilingualism, anything that you can think of, we perceive it as an important factor. So I'm not exactly sure if Elena wants to jump in right now for the objectives.
Well, no, as you wish. I mean, I can do either. Would you like to continue, or would you like me to do it?
Sorry, I forgot how I decided the slide. So I'll just keep on going, and if you want to add anything, please, my dear, just jump in. So our objectives are, first of all, we want to bring together researchers, practitioners, teachers, educators, but also policymakers and language learners themselves who are interested in inclusion. And as I said, because we've noticed that the question whether where you're coming from, what your region is, so your geographical location, your cultural setting, your institutional context matters. We want to be active in various places and learn from another. So the local insights that we can gain within our network, this is something that we perceive as our strength. And it leads to the improvement of our understanding of what inclusion really is. And of course, being connected within a research network helps us identify any research projects that are already underway, or maybe people are thinking about starting a research project. Sometimes an international connection helps if we're working on similar topics in different geographical regions. And of course, we want to disseminate findings of new research into inclusive foreign language education and let other colleagues know that we've tried something, maybe some approach in a certain context, and maybe this is something that they could be inspired by and try out in their own context. So this dissemination of the findings of our research is one of our objectives as well. What else? We this dissemination leads to a form of comparison that informs us what works in different contexts. And sometimes, you know, that publications are available in some languages, and the language barrier prevents us researchers from getting insight into that publication. So being a part of a ReN like that, through colleagues who can support, who can advise, who can let us know that there are maybe some projects going on and that they are familiar with, but in a different language, this is kind of a different access point to more knowledge. So we perceive our ReN as this kind of an access point to more knowledge. Of course, new opportunities for collaboration, for joint research, this is something that we are interested in. We are also interested in the multidisciplinary perspective. As I mentioned, many of us who are currently in the ReN have the background of being in teacher education, being linguists, but also teachers themselves. So we have some people who come from the more from the direction of educational science, some psychologists. So in that we have a very, very multidisciplinary group of people, which is also a very, very nice way to enrich your research. The research funding, of course, since all of us are in academia, I don't think I have to say much about that. Clear research funding is always good, and the more minds we put towards the greater the ideas are that we develop. So research funding is always a topic, but it's just something that we do in academia. We are primarily driven by the need to discuss these issues, develop ideas, create new approaches and methodologies, and this is pretty much the driving force. Okay, I think now I will switch to Elena, who will tell us about the scientific takeaways.
Thank you, Joanna. I'm very happy that I can participate. Thank you for the opportunity of disseminating our ReN that we are very proud of. My name is Elena Gomez, as Joanna said before, and I work at the University of Cordoba, although right now I am in Hungary. So apologies if my internet connection does not work very well. I can see some ups and downs. While in the meanwhile, the before participants were speaking, so apologies beforehand. So let me summarize a little bit the scientific takeaways of our ReN, because as Joanna has explained, the main goal is to work on inclusion from foreign language education, and we start from a very broad concept of inclusion. It does not mean disabilities, or not only disabilities, it means difficulties in learning and learning language. So I think language can help those students access the world in a very different way. So the first thing is how principles of inclusive education are interpreted and implemented in different foreign education contexts, which is very important because we belong to different countries, and this allows us to compare and to see the results and how these things are done in different countries. Again, to taking advantage of that internationalization and that international perspective, we are looking at inclusion. We want to look at the role that various forms of learning diversity plays in different international foreign language education contexts. Also, we want to look at the attitude towards inclusive foreign language education and how they are expressed in various cultural contexts. Because, I mean, from northern to southern countries, eastern, western, we can see many differences. And sometimes it's very interesting to see how culture plays a role in that area. Also, we want to look at the types of support systems and teaching solutions have been proposed and implemented in inclusive foreign language education, and in what settings they can be considered effective, because implementing and testing and researching can tell us what works and what doesn't work. And finally, how newly emerging fields and approaches, for example, cognitive linguistics, can contribute to the investigation of inclusive foreign language education. So this is the wrapping up of our scientific results, our scientific goals, the scientific goals of the ReN. Can you, Joanna, go to the next slide?
It's just a second somehow. Yeah, there we go.
That's it. So our activity, Joanna went to Kuala Lumpur in the AILA World Congress in August 2024, and she reported a wonderful and very satisfactory experience. So thanks to her, we were present in that conference. We also had a symposium in Joanna's city, where she works in Bremen, entitled Inclusive Intersection in July 2023. And we have been, let's say, quite successful in publishing a couple of very interesting publications. Joanna and Julia published in the National Journal of Education Research Open in 2022, and she and me published a book it was Springer on a teacher cultural project, the project that Joanna was telling you about. So this is our website, blogs.uni-bremen.de/AILA ReN. So this is our website. This is where you can find us, and we are super happy to have seen you today here. So that's it.
Yes.
So I don't know, Joanna, shall we do 2 each?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. So benefits of joining a ReN, we were asked what are the benefits? I mean, it is a nice community of practice, and it is nice to go to these conferences where you also meet other people. It's also nice to try and work together. So, for example, in our ReN, we have co-authored papers with our postgraduate students, so you can work with your doctoral students as well and bring them into the ReN. And I'm glad to see that there are 1 or 2 of our postgraduate students here today. So networking and collaboration is really the core of a research network at AILA. And, you know, it is a nice platform to connect. And I'm sorry I couldn't go to Kuala Lumpur, but I was there online. And even if you attend online our events, you can still reach out. I think we need to make applied linguistics more visible to policymakers, because it's kind of falling, at least in this country, is falling off the sight of everybody, because after Brexit, there is less interest for languages and applied linguistics in general. And we need to defend the discipline and make sure that we can share linguistic, cultural, disciplinary backgrounds and foster opportunity for interdisciplinary collaboration. And of course, we have opportunities for dissemination. Kyria runs the newsletter, for example, so anything we do can also be broadcast to others. And all the events create visibility. Over to you, Joanna.
If you join a AILA Research Network, it is practically by default that you will be dealing with or engaging with some important global themes. In our case, inclusive education, inclusion, sustainability. That is one of the UN sustainability goals. So even though you might be working on a very small project or collaborating with your colleagues, you are making a contribution to a bigger issue on a global level, which is a good feeling, I guess. And it's also a very, very nice thing to do. This is very productive. So ReNs give you that wonderful feeling. And there are always opportunities for connection through virtual exchange, naturally, because for the most part, we are spread all over the world. So we have to rely on digital sources and on digital ways of communication. And within our ReN, we've done that. And it has worked great. I mean, there's always an element of will the slides show and will the Zoom run? So there's this element of surprise that you can never fully control. But we, for example, have managed to try out formats like a joint, also kind of like a joint webinar, but for teacher education. So having joint courses at our universities and just talking about inclusive education. So blended mobility in a way, virtual exchange is always possible. And by having the connection of so many people within the ReN, there's always an option to organize something like that. You just have to think in a very creative way and be open-minded. And I guess that's what we are. So if you're interested in joining a ReN, these possible benefits are really, really hard to beat. This is something that you will experience.
Yes, and of course, joining the ReN for AILA, normally you need to be a member of your local country association. In my case, it's British Association for Applied Linguistics. I don't know, Joanna, in your case?
No, that's not necessarily the case for us. So you can just contact us and just get in touch with us directly. Yeah,
you can also be a member of AILA itself. You don't need to be associated, but of course you can do both. Now, so if you want more information on our two RENs, we put the links here.